V81 Radio, V81 Radio. V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth and our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. In South Manila, this is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan, kahit nasaan ka man ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh,
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
V81 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect those of the host, the show, this station, the management, and the network. Buckle up and get ready, set, and go! Join Sports Girl anchor Nicole Ganglani as she dives deep into the lives of athletes, fitness personalities, and enthusiasts from the sports industry. This is Sportswatch, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Hello mga ka-sports tropa, this is your sports girl anchor Nicole Ganglani welcoming you to the show today where we talk all things sports and fitness. Buckle up, get ready, set, and go. We're here to put the spotlight on different athletes from different sports to hopefully inspire you every day. So for today's show, I've invited the queen of Philippine wrestling, Crystal. I'm excited to talk to her about her life as a professional wrestler, how she continues to battle the gender stereotypes in such a male-dominated sport, and of course, we talk more about the wrestling culture here in the country. Crystal is the current MYW wrestling champion and has won several belts across Asia. Without further ado, let's bring out Crystal.
Hi.
Crystal, thank you.
Hi.
Spending your Saturday morning with us. I know it's a holiday right now for us, but we appreciate you coming on for the show today to talk about wrestling and basically, you know, your life and its culture here. So thanks again.
I'm very, very happy to be here right now because, I can share my views and my experiences about the sport, pro wrestling, and I'm hoping that the viewers will enjoy our time together today.
That's awesome. So before we get to the personal questions that I'm about to ask you about wrestling in general, can you please just give us a brief on what you do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, right now in the pandemic, it's actually pretty chill. I wake up around, I don't know, depends on the day. I would go for a jog / run, and then when I do get home, I normally do Pilates or some weights training and cardio. So I'm trying to still keep fit until that one day, pro wrestling is going to be back because pro wrestling is a very it's a contact sport, and it's also we can't really have huge gatherings of people because we normally hold it in Power Max Center, and then we normally have 300 to 500 people per show, depends on the gravity of the show, because sometimes if it's a more minor show, of course there's major shows, so minsan, sometimes we get to maybe 1,000 if it's a big arena. So hopefully that when wrestling does come back, when we are able to host events and stuff like that, I will still be fit. So
I mean, you seem like it, at least virtually, right? Yeah, so for wrestling, I feel it's gonna take quite some time too, because that's how it is with other sports here as well. Parang it's gonna be a long while. But I'd like to ask you, so now that you're in the middle of the pandemic, how do you still continue to get better, or at least expose yourself to wrestling?
The great thing is we have internet now.
Yeah.
Because if this was in the 80s or the 90s, we probably wouldn't be able to get the amount of, you know, things that we can watch. So there's a lot of, I mean, WWE still is going. AEW is going as well. Like a lot of my friends in Japan are still wrestling throughout the pandemic because, they have a dojo or they have their own facility that they do get tested, and people are already, segregated from the outside. Like in WWE, I think they have a performance center, and then yun. So parang for them to be able to still keep up making content, I still am able to watch a
Yeah.
lot of wrestling. So
That's true.
even though I am not able to do it physically by myself, because it is a contact sport and it's hard to practice, grappling when you're just grappling air. So at least I can see, I have like a physical, I can see it with my eyes now. Oh, that's what they can do. That
Yeah.
I'll hopefully, when we do get back to training, I'll be able to try those things out
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But at home naman, because like, okay, one of the biggest things about me, I am very flexible. So that's why I do
Schedule wise,
Pilates.
or
So like I'm flexible, and I
physical.
think if we show like when we're gonna show like a clip of me, I
Yeah.
do a finishing move. I call it the Queen's Guillotine. It's basically a split leg drop from the top rope. So every day after my workouts, I would pull stretch, and then I would split for at least like 5 minutes at a time, just so that my flexibility is still, you know, high. Yeah, basically, I just watch a lot of wrestling and I listen to a lot of podcasts as well. And ayun, I'm just
That's
glad
great.
na
Yeah.
this happened na meron tayong internet.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's actually one way to continue staying engaged, especially right now when you have no idea when it's going to get back. But let's throw back a bit. I'd like to ask you, how did you get into wrestling? Before I ask you how you pursued it professionally, I'd like to ask you the
Mm-hmm.
reverse, Nina. How did you
I
get
see.
into it? Was it like?
So
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go. Well, when I was 4, my grandmother is actually even before I was born. My grandmom was always such a big fan of wrestling. Like, I think she had like a big crush on Bret Hart when I was a kid. Actually, I want to say this a tiny story. When my mom was pregnant with me, um, this was this was just like a moment, but my my lola and my uncle were watching wrestling. I think they rented out
Oh,
a
it
VHS
started
tape.
in the family talaga.
Yeah, so like they rented out a VHS tape at like
Yeah.
I don't know, Video City or something.
Yeah.
And then my mom went ahead and like, oh, what are you guys watching again? And of course, my lola said like, of course, wrestling. And then because my mom was really not a fan because she only saw it as violence and that's it. So she tried to walk away, but for some reason she was so engaged that she was actually hide. Like when she walked away, she was hiding some like in in between the staircase railing. So she was actually watching the show. And then when the show finished, my lola was like saying, "Oh, anak, why are you watching? I thought you hated wrestling." And then she said like, "Ingat ka, baka maging pro wrestler yung apo ko."
Oh,
Yeah, and when my mom was pregnant. So ayun. So when I was 4, fast forward a bit, like when I was 4, I remember not clearly enough, but I remember watching another wrestling show event. I think maybe it
yeah.
was like a WWE
Yeah.
F WrestleMania or something.
WWF
But
pa yun,
yeah, WWF pa. Tapos I think because she had breast cancer, so we didn't really have a lot of time left with her. But
Yeah.
even though like she had an IV through her vein, she would still be like clapping for her favorites. We would be watching like a tiny TV just a hospital. Tapos may nilagay kaming tape. That was she would just be happy and cheerful, and like I looked at my lola as if parang hindi ganun kasakit even though she had like an IV na nagka-clap pa rin siya na kahit sobrang weak niya na. She was still like cheering for her favorites. She was laughing. She was happy her favorites won and stuff. And then like I looked at her with like tiny me when I was like 4 and I was like I want to be one of those people na I want to be able to make people happy as well as the way those wrestlers made my
Yeah.
lola happy. So
Yeah.
that's how
That's
I got into
inspiring.
wrestling. So my lola and my uncle have always been into wrestling. Yun yung introduction ko.
That's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. That's really inspiring. Pursuing something because you want to make others happy, similar to how they did that to your
Mhm.
family members and you. So thanks for that. So I'd like to show the photos. Can we roll it, please? Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. Or wait, I think it's about. There we go. So this is you in.
That is my debut in Japan.
Oh, okay, okay. This
Yeah.
was This was like, I believe, a year ago.
Uh, September. I think it was September 2019.
September 2019.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
not too far ago
actually
because we don't count 2020.
okay a year ago then.
I'm kidding. Yeah, okay. So go on. This was in Japan.
I was actually. This is like a series of photos. I'm not sure if I was able to give you the other ones, but I was just waving to the crowd, saying hello because I was very nervous. This is my first match in Japan. I didn't know if anyone knew me, but apparently some fans have been watching my wrestling. The ones inside. So the event, and then I received my first ever like streamers because streamers in Japan is a really big thing, and normally they throw out streamers in your colors, so what your gear or
Okay.
like what your color is, and
What
then
are your
after
colors?
mine is blue and white.
Okay.
So
I'll ask you
so
why
my
later.
hair is my hair is normally blue, but pandemic, so I don't really need to dye my hair
Yeah.
because I'm not going anywhere and no one's gonna see me. So ayun. So after me waving, like they threw streamers at me. It was like one of the happiest moments of my life, actually.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. This was versus who? Sorry, I believe this was after a match.
No, that's before a match. Like literally, I went out and then I was waving, and then they threw streamers. So that was
Before.
before a match, and then I was really really nervous. Pero yun,
Okay. How did that go? How did it go?
it apparently I got a bit of fans in Japan now, and I'm really happy about that because I really want to go back
Is
when
that why
this is
you're learning Japanese?
partly, but I mean like I've always wanted to learn another language, but because I love Japan, my favorite cuisine is Japanese food, and I
Yeah,
think
same.
I love.
We're gonna bond over that later.
Yeah, I want to be able to order in Japan without having to have someone
Yeah, yes.
translate to me.
Yeah.
I was like, shoyu ramen desu. And then I just want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then I've always wanted to learn something else other than Filipino Tagalog, and Jap- Japanese is quite. It's hard to speak, but it's also apparently if you learn Japanese, it's easier to learn like Mandarin or Korean because
Oh, okay,
they
I didn't
both
know
stem
that.
from Chinese Mandarin. So
Yeah.
hopefully it goes well. And I love anime too, and I want to be able to watch it without subtitles.
Yeah. Where in Japan was this?
That is in Tokyo. I
Tokyo.
forgot the city, but yeah, it was in Tokyo.
Tokyo. Nice, nice. Did you get the belt there?
No,
But
I
you
wasn't
were
up
still
for
able to
any like
perform.
championship match. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Can we head to the next photo, please? Oh wow, this
Ah,
was, where is this?
I think that was last year. I'm not January 2020.
Okay.
I think that is my first ever title defense for the
Nice.
my
Where was this?
PW. That was just here in Manila. That's in Makati, which is Power Max Center, which where we normally hold our PWR events. I actually have the belt right here beside me. So yeah,
Can
I
you
am
show it?
actually I am actually the longest running champion now of the my PW
Oh, I love
WrestleCon
it.
championship. But
Nice. You get
sorry,
to
it's
keep the belt.
yeah,
Wow.
I do. I polish it now and then. It's very shiny.
It is like I can see it from like one camera to another. Wow, that is that.
So yeah, it's actually very heavy. It's I think at 10 pounds or something, or I'm not sure. I haven't weighed it, but it's heavy.
I can imagine. That's a
So
lot of
I
work.
actually I have to put it up with two hands because I can't grip it
It's
with
that
just
heavy.
one. Yeah.
Oh damn! Wow, that coming from you, so that must be really, really heavy. So
It's not naman really heavy, but it's heavier than the other belts that I've had before.
why is that? Is it because
I think because talagang steel siya eh. Talagang plated. It's like, this is one
okay?
plate and then another part of steel and then there's rivets on the back. And it's just a very like heavy duty belt that I don't want to get hit with.
How was that experience like for you? Was this the
I
first belt you won?
No, this is I think the third.
The third belt. Okay.
Mhm.
How was that experience for you?
It was honestly, I felt pressure because the champion before me, Phoenix, the one who I won it from, she was the first ever female to win a championship in Malaysia. Because this championship was normally for men, so they went intergender, and she was able to win it off. And then she was such a successful champion that she went on the news, she went viral, and all of that. And I felt like I had to do, just as much as she did. But sadly, pandemic, so I couldn't do anything that I planned.
I know that's unfortunate. I'm sorry about that. But at least on the bright side, you're the longest belt holder and you get to keep it at your home for a while. And I think it's gonna
It's funny because like I think I am the longest, but I have the least amount of defenses because I can't really go out there and fight.
yeah, yeah. Have they tried asking it from you?
No, they still want me to keep it, and I think they say it's in good hands. So no, because I keep it shiny and I clean it now and then.
I'm
So
sure it is. Next photo, please. Okay, is this
ayan,
one of your moves?
no, that's just me posing. That is my queen pose. It's
Your
a
queen pose. Okay.
yeah, the crown that I hold up, and I just like how Pacheco is like our photographer and PWR, and that
Yeah.
was just one of the things that he just gets these angles of me that I think are like, wow, that's me. So yun, that was before my match with Rico and Gypsy and Jay Sarah. It was like a four-way women's match, and
Yeah.
it was the main event, and I was really really, really excited and pressured about that match because it was the first ever women's main event in the Philippines. So,
Okay.
ayun.
Where in the Philippines was this held?
That was also in Makati. That was in
Makati.
Power Mac Center.
Okay, okay. How was that experience like for you?
Um, Kasi the thing is, Riho is one of the most popular female Japanese wrestlers right now. She's also a wrestler in AEW, which is yung kalaban ng WWE, if you're wondering. So she was the first AEW Women's Champion, and at the time she was still holding the belt, and
Mm-hmm.
we were battling it out for the. I think that was also for the um, Southeast Asia Queen, the Queen of Southeast Asia Championship. I think it's a belt by Singapore.
Yeah.
We were having a match for that, but sadly I didn't win. But ayun, it was just uh, whenever you see me like that in the ring or like before my match, I normally try to keep it calm and composed, but inside my head I'm just like freaking out. Oh, I have to remember this. I have to remember this. Don't trip. It's just a lot of things inside my head, but in like the way they see me, I'm just like, I'm cool. I'm queen, you know. Pero I'm really nervous inside normally.
That's fun. That's fun. This is sorry, I might have missed this. This was 2020, right?
2019. We
2019.
did Yeah, we didn't wrestle. My last match was in February of 2020, very early February. I think it was like the first or second week. I flew to Malaysia, and then after that, like a week after when I got home, or like a week and a half, they announced that we're going to lockdown. So,
Ah, that's
yun.
good to hear. Yeah.
At
But
least I was able to have that one last match before we went on lockdown, but
yeah, that's
we're still
great.
on lockdown.
I know there's no progress. Do you have any idea when it's at least gonna come back? Like, have they like teased it now, or even like a
Um,
place where you wrestle without crowd, or
mhm.
like, is there some
we
sort of plan for it to
we
some?
have been we have been trying because but it's very expensive. The thing is, we're trying to get like swab tests because of course we're gonna have to get tested before we interact with each other, because also we can't really social distance with wrestling, so we have to make sure that everyone's negative. We have looked at places to rent out like warehouses so that we can just like have an online show if it's possible, but renting out the place, the swab tests, they're very expensive. So we are playing with the idea of just doing virtual, but it's still actually we were already moving forward with it, but then they announced ECQ again, so we had to like postpone it again. So yun, sad.
I know. You're not. I mean, if it helps, you're not the only one. Because like, I've talked to multiple athletes. Siyempre, di ba, I
Yeah.
do a sports show, so I talk to multiple athletes every Saturday, and they tell me the same thing. Parang sports. I mean, as you
Sports
know,
and COVID just do not go
just
together.
yeah,
No.
yeah. It's just the farthest thing from each other. Like it can't. And unless you're playing like a non-contact sport like golf or I guess well table tennis has started already, but that's about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Well, table tennis is kind of easier because you guys are on the opposite ends of
yeah,
the
yeah,
table.
yeah,
Social distance, you don't really contact each other. Like you don't have any
yeah,
contact with each other. The only thing that you have contact is with the ball. But
yeah,
with a very fully like I think any martial arts,
yeah.
any contact sport,
Any
even just
contact sport
basketball.
in
Yeah,
general, yeah. Well, at least you're able to experience still your main event. Hopefully it's not the last one.
hopefully.
Yeah. Can we see the next photo, please? Ooh, this is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't get to skim through all
The
your
photos.
photos. But I wanted to see it raw as we present it right
Yeah.
now to the show. So wow, this I can't even like find a word. This looked very painful, but at the same time cool, and at the same time very strategic. So
Yeah,
all
that
of
is
this.
a wrestling hold. I call it the crystallization because you're basically like, stuck in place. You're crystallized. Yun. So it's an octopus hold. I'm not sure if you can see it, but my leg is wrapped around his leg and other arm,
Yeah.
and then my other leg, which is my left leg, is the one on top of his head, and I am wrenching his right arm like backwards. So, yun. It's apparently it's painful. It's not. I don't know how it feels like because no one has ever tried it on me. But
But
it's very intricate looking.
it is. Wait, can I ask you, what are some of your moves? Wait, sorry. Before we get there, ang dami kong tanong actually. How many minutes do you normally play? Or how many minutes are
um,
you on the ring, rather? Or how many minutes?
um,
You play, but how many minutes do you wrestle? Ganon.
depends on the match because this is just an insider thing, but we have these thing called bookers, and they normally give you like what type of match they want, who's your next opponent.
Yeah.
Basically like for some example, like I went against Desiderata, and Desiderata is like 6'1". She's a amazing talented woman. She's 6 something I think, or 6'1" or something. But she's very tall. Like only like shoulder level to her. But ayun,
Okay.
they wanted like a David and Goliath type
Yeah.
match. So they normally give you like how many minutes you have in the ring. So yun. But normally most of my matches are 10 minutes or sometimes less than. It's just how you can plan it out, or how you can fit a lot of things into the amount of time, because I'm one of those people that if this is what you allow me, like if this is the amount of time that you give me, I will do my best. I will give you the best show ever. I'm not going to go over time.
Is it hard? Is that a challenge to like squeeze everything in a couple of minutes?
To me, not really. Maybe because I have been wrestling for, I think, 7 years now. I started in 24. I started training in 2014, so I've been wrestling for seven. I've been training for 7 years and wrestling for 5. So to me, it's second nature. Now I don't really need to fit all my moves in, just the necessary moves that will help my character or the rest of the match look amazing.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
That's good. So, because I also had a wrestler on the show last Saturday. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jake
Jake De
DeLeon.
Leon.
Yeah,
He's the one in the photo.
oh my god, I did not notice that. That's like kanina I was like, parang, but I don't wanna like
Yeah,
throw
we've
it
had a
out
match.
there because
Yeah.
I might have looked, stupid and out of the word. But that's Jake. I hope he's watching right now. I mean, I'll definitely tell him later
But
that.
yeah, maybe because like he's also looking down, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
also see part of his
Yeah,
face.
how can I
So
not catch that? Damn it. Okay, anyway, I'm so mad at myself. But Jake mentioned last week, for those that didn't get to check the stream last week, he had mentioned that in wrestling kasi, it's more than just the physical side of it.
mhm,
You're also performing, right? At least entertainment wise, and
mhm,
that comes with that mentality or mindset rather of having to like balance the time given to you, what moves,
mhm.
because you're of course performing out there, right? So
Yeah.
besides like the physical side, there's a strategy slash
Mhm.
acting. Sorry, I know it's not supposed to be acting. He told me it's supposed to be like the script that
Yeah.
he follows, that you guys follow, diba? So is that something that was difficult to adapt, like that side of it, of having to strategize your moves on the ring or just basically performing in general?
How do I answer this? For me, it wasn't really difficult because I've had a bit of I've performed before. I was part of a choir, and I've
Okay,
had
so it has
martial
come
arts
to
also. So like, performing already. I was also part of a dance troupe when I was in high school, but yeah, performing was already in
ingrained
me.
in you, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just this is my opinion on pro wrestling. I think it's a bit of both worlds in a way. Now you can basically think of theater and MMA together, because say in MMA, normally it's just like punching. It's just a
Yeah.
fight, and they normally don't
Talaga.
the act.
Performing in
Yeah,
MMA, that's good.
so
That's a super good summary of it, based on at least what
so
I've learned from you and Jake. Yeah.
mhm. So like the theater part of it is like, well, the thing is like people in theater don't really interact with the crowd. Like you just perform in front of
Yeah.
them. That's where the drama side comes in,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there are some storylines that may drama that they had like backstage, or they've had drama or a rivalry in the ring. So like there's a bit of like that theater and that MMA aspect
Yeah.
all into one. But with wrestling, we can interact with the crowd. Like someone chants like um sulit bayad, and we're just like, yes, something like that. Or like we or someone chants, like someone starts to chant like crystal, 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 and then what I would do is like I would fire up, and then let's go, and then they would be like, woo. It's nice because you get to interact. Also, if like we have like a big match, or like we can high five the guys, the audience outside, and it's honestly so touching sometimes because we do get kids that all that come on
Watching.
the
Yeah.
events. Yeah, and I've had like tiny girls or like little
I love
boys
that.
saying
I'm gonna
like,
get to that a
Crystal,
little
I'm such a big
later.
fan. So parang may ganun na parang nakaka-touch. Parang,
Yeah.
oh my god. Tapos I would sometimes get also I think tweets or messages on my Facebook page. They would be like, Ate Crystal, idol po kita. I'm just 14 or something. And then they would say na parang, hopefully maabutan po kita sa PWR one day pag nag-18 na ako. Because we only accept people of legal age. So 18 and above lang yung pwede mag-training sa PWR if they do decide to, become wrestlers. So sometimes there would be girls na, Ate Crystal, please, hopefully andito ka pa sa Manila, and I'd be able to wrestle you one day. So yun, nakaka-touch lang na parang I'm able to,
Yeah.
ayan. This photo was actually part of my tryout in WWE in Shanghai.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. It's reflecting. There we go. Sorry, it reflected a little late to me. My bad. Technical difficulties. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so that's your blue hair.
Yeah.
Okay. There.
That was my tryout in WWE Shanghai.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We touched on this last week.
Yeah.
He talked about that one of a kind experience he was able to get because of WWE, diba?
Mhm.
I'm guessing it was the same for you as well.
It was so hard. Thing is, it was an amazing experience, like being able to, surround yourself with wrestlers and surround yourself with the great trainers of WWE and some of the wrestlers as well. It is just mind blowing that I was invited for a tryout in WWE in Shanghai.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, day one, start off the bat, we were already exhausted. I had to stop myself from drinking alaksan because I knew that because we were there for a week. So I knew that if I run out of alaksan and salon pass, the later days, I would just be like, I can't move my legs. But yeah, it was gruesome. Super. I think there was like this is one example of many. There would be like a drill inside the ring that they're doing because we're just 30-40 people in the tryout alone. So there's a group inside the ring, they're doing drills, and then every other group outside the ring would be doing like a workout or another drill. And so this was like the one that killed me the most, I think. We were doing a wall sit. So just wall sit is already difficult enough, but we would be passing.
I'm sorry.
Basically you squat on the wall.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so that.
We'll go
So
to the-
it's okay. There would be like four of us girls, or I'm not sure how many, but yeah, four of us, and then they would have this big weight. I think it was a 10-kilo sandbag. So while doing the wall sit, we have to pass the sandbag onto the next, and it would go back and forth. It didn't end in like a minute. It ended when the people inside the ring were done with the drill. So there would be people that you are slower than the others. That group is slower than the others, and we would just be wall sitting here, and I'm just like, you're dying. It's like, and then this 10 kilo sandbag just comes to you, like, you're just like that. So that's just one of many drills that they had, and I died. I'm not even gonna. I
How did
died.
it go for you? Did they like respond to you back, or what did they say?
They haven't really got in touch with me since then because the pandemic really hit, and I think they actually had to, the WWE had to get rid of a lot of, not a lot, but they actually got rid of some talent because pandemic.
Got it.
But yeah, they haven't really gotten back to me, but it's just amazing na because I got scouted by the WWE in
That's still that's still
2017.
a good like a good sign or like maybe a
Yeah,
prestige. I don't know the
hopefully.
way how it is, but then that's WWE. That's like
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
mean, I'm sorry, but when someone asks me, okay, wrestling, the first thing that appears on my mind, besides
Hey,
you and
WWE.
that I know you both, at least virtually, is
Yeah.
WWE, right?
I
Because
was actually supposed to go to WWE in 2018, but my visa got declined. That's the only
ah,
thing that stopped me. I
where
was supposed to
where is
be
it?
part of I was supposed to be part of the WWE Mae Young Classic, which is
Yeah.
a all women tournament battling out for the Mae Young Classic trophy, basically. So I was supposed it was part of 30 women, all wrestlers all around the world, and I was the one who was chosen for Southeast Asia slash the Philippines. I was going to be the first ever full Filipina woman to be on WWE,
I love
but
it.
when I went to the embassy and they were just like, "Oh, we're not convinced." They declined my visa application, and I was in tears for like a day,
Wait,
and I
why did
couldn't.
you tell WWE to fight for it? Could they have
We
done
we
something?
did we tried, but it was more difficult, I think, for WWE because they don't really have contacts here in Asia. I
Ah,
mean,
okay. So there was
unlike if they try to get someone from Mexico or
yeah.
UK, they've had people coming in from there and they've had experience helping out people there, but they don't really have contacts here. So yeah, I was gonna be the first one, but sadly, I don't know anymore.
Sorry to hear that. Can we go lang to this photo? This is where?
Uh,
Is
that
this in
is
Kuwait?
in Kuala Lumpur,
Kuala
Malaysia. That
Lumpur.
is my PW.
Okay, how was this experience like for you? Did you win a belt in this tournament? Is it called a
No,
tournament or
a match.
a match?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, a match.
So
Okay.
yeah, and that photo is actually I think we made history in that photo because my opponent was Tony Abel. Um, that was the first ever intergender wrestling match in Malaysia.
Oh, okay. How did that go
Yeah.
for you? Was it hard?
It wasn't hard because I was already used to battling intergender because I've had matches with men here
In
multiple
the
times in the
Philippines.
Philippines. Yeah.
You wrestled Jake, so
Yeah. No, because I was the first female here in the Philippines. So I don't really have any other females to have matches with until, Robin, I think, came about a year after I was already wrestling.
was
But
that process
yan.
hard for you, Crystal? Like,
Hmm?
was that process difficult for you? Like the fact that you had to enter the um correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a male dominated
Yeah.
industry, right?
Um,
Was that hard for you because you had to battle against men during
no
your first
naman.
couple of years? It wasn't.
No naman. Well, it is scary, but the thing is, I grew up. My mom taught me how to be strong. I mean, not really taught, but she's already. I grew up strong. I was already independent when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think I started commuting when I was in grade 5, something like that. So I've already known how to defend myself and to be strong and strong-willed. I'm a very strong-willed person, so I wasn't really intimidated by the guys. But also, I think it was one of the things that I appreciate PWR for because I was the first female, and they didn't really know how to, handle a female. But they treated me like one of the guys. I trained the same way. Whatever they did, I did. So I grew like I started training in a tough way per se because there would be some things that hurt me more than the guys because when we do land on our faces they don't really have boobs to land on, so they don't really feel that, but to me it's also painful. But you know it was a bit of pressure because when I debuted in PWR, I think it was such a big shock for people because they don't really see intergender. It's not really like a normal thing. Also, we're a very big Catholic country, and we had to play around. Me and my opponent back then, my first ever match, we had to play around the idea that he's not gonna hit me like with a punch. So he's gonna be more. We tried to get the audience to get angrier at him so that they want me to win. He would slap me, but then I would kick him harder, something like that. He would try to, grab my hair, but then I would like elbow him harder, and I just, whatever I tried to, give off as Crystal na palaban na babae. That's also what I grew up with. So to me, I am Crystal, but Crystal is just times like 100 of me, like a very extravagant person.
Yeah.
And breaking the mold of people thinking na you're just a female, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Was that
I just
difficult?
tried to prove them wrong. Honestly, like it wasn't really difficult. It was just more. I want to show you this is what a female is capable of. Nah, I can make amazing matches. I can bring this to the table, and this is what you've been missing out on. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to show the people, and happily it is what is showing, and the people really do enjoy female and PWR now. So yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. Not only are you doing the goal of like what you had when you first started wrestling, which was making others smile, similar to how your family members, wrestling made it to your family members, but you're also transcending the women in a male-dominated sport kind of thing. So that's
It's also
for that.
like my friends told me we're gonna be here for you. Whenever I do have a bad day, or like if the guys are just being mean, I would just grow thicker skin because to be honest, being in a male dominated industry isn't for the weak of heart. You have to be strong. You have to fight for what you want, because if you let those guys like trample over you or just trip you up, they will just won't let you get up. So whenever I did, like I had friends that encouraged me to do better. Whenever I felt like I wasn't good enough, the fans would tell me like, "Hey, Crystal, you are good enough. Like there's a reason we're a fan of you. You're inspiring." Stuff like that. It's just it makes me appreciate what I stand for even more. Na parang because I was the first female, the other girls that are in my company, they also think na because I was able to do it, they can do it as well. So yun.
Got it. Thanks for sharing that. Next photo, please. Another
That's
belt.
the belt. Yeah. No, that's the same belt. Yeah. I just wanted to show off the belt. No, that's the same match with JDL, Jake De Leon. Yeah.
Nice.
When I beat him, now he's on the floor.
Next, please. Oh, someone's
that is in Singapore of May 2019, Singapore, for Singapore Pro Wrestling.
How was this like?
Honestly, whenever I travel to any country for pro wrestling, I'm just so happy that they like me. Is that weird? But ayun, because I don't know, but apparently for some reason, like the audience really do like appreciate having me there, and they do like my presence, and they like Crystal. So I think SPW, my PW, also I think Thailand has invited me multiple times, and I was in China. I think I've traveled to Middle Kingdom Wrestling for China, I think 3 times now. And then I went to Japan for a week, I think 2 weeks, and then I went to India. And that was just honestly, whenever I get to travel for another country multiple times, it makes me feel like I did something right because the audience, the fans keep wanting you to come back. And I think this was like my 4th trip to Singapore. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it might be my 4th or 5th trip. And every time I go, I'm just happy that the fans are happy to see me. And then some people, I think, there was one match in Malaysia. One of the Lalang squad guys, held up like a poster saying like,
Yeah.
"Crystal, I skipped out on work today for you," and I'm just like, "Oh my god, these guys, that's so touching though. I hope they don't get in trouble with your job."
That's so nice to hear. Does this hurt? I gotta ask, like on the ring when you're in a match and then like you guys get physical with each other. Does this hurt or it's something you're used to already?
Oh, it's never the same pain. It's like sometimes after a match, no, actually, after a match you're just fine because you have adrenaline. But it's the day after when everything has settled and you're just
Yeah.
back pain.
How do
Pain
you
I didn't know I could feel in that region.
like recover from that? How do you treat that?
Me, I work out.
You work out. Yeah.
Do you know when someone is sore and they work out again and their body's gonna get used to it, and then because the thing is when you work out, muscles. I don't know how to explain this, but my gym trainer used to explain it so well to me that when your muscles contract when you're lifting heavy things, they will get sore. But if you work out again, they're gonna get. I'm not explaining this well or fine, but yun, they said that if you work out normally, I'll just explain like what I do. So after a match, normally we have an after party. We would like celebrate, drink, eat with the other wrestlers, and then I sleep. The next day, when in the morning, my body just hurts like I was hit by a
Yeah.
truck. I fell multiple times in the ring on high places. I think there was one time I got superplex, which is a suplex from the top rope downwards. It was very high. My back was in pain. Pero and then I think normally I would put salon pass in the places that hurt the most. I don't drink like pain meds. Like I don't drink Alaxan on the regular basis. It's just like sometimes if it hurts too much, then I would drink
You
the
pick up
pain
the pain.
medicine. Yeah. But after that, I think by the afternoon, when after I wake up in the morning, afternoon, I would try to do like a lighter type of workout just so that my muscles get stretched out, and basta it makes me feel better. I know it's different for people, but normally I would stretch or have a light workout, and that's how I deal with it.
This. Can we please move on to the next photo? Ooh,
That was in China. I'm not sure if
is this your typical get up?
yes, I normally have thigh high wrestling boots and like a
Is that
shoulder
yeah?
arm
Is
type
that
of
how
thing.
you designed it? I mean, how you parang portrayed it for yourself, or it was assigned to you?
No, whatever you guys see inside the ring, for at least this is PWR.
Yeah.
I'm not sure with like WWE. I know that they have like a lot of professional things there, but this is mostly for like indie stuff. It really depends on the wrestler. You can have someone design it for you, but um, to me, it is because I did have like a bit of fashion background because I think I have an undergrad in fashion design from CSB. So I think that came in handy with coming up with the get up for my wrestling persona, Crystal. So yun, parang I wanted to show na a bit of sexiness but also athletic. So you see the thigh high boots, they're still, very, it gives a lot of support for my ankles and my knees, but also they look great. And also like my top and my bottom. Normally I have the gear in all white and all black, but in the photo I think you see me mismatching it, so it looks a bit more flashy, I think, in a way. So yun. The fashion design background really helped with designing my
Got it.
gear.
Yeah, I'm from CSP too, so it's great to hear that. Nice. So again, this was in China, right?
I'm not sure if, because like I've said, I've been to China 3 or 4 times. Uh, this might be in Harbin. I'm not sure.
Okay, I know it's hard to recall.
No, pero also kasi I don't really. I've been to Shanghai. I haven't really been to Beijing, but that was one of the big cities. But it's not Shanghai or Beijing. I don't remember what city. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Also, Chinese names I'm confused by. So
Yeah, I
yun.
can imagine. Yeah. Let's proceed to the next photo, please. Ooh,
That's
this is
another
really-
WWE training. I think the guy
Sorry, I'm
in
like doing
I'm
myself.
not sure of who the other guy is, but yeah, that was me inside the ring where I'm about to roll to the other side. Ayun. But yeah, I
Nice.
think in that drill we had to do like so many rolls that when you get up you're dizzy na. So yun.
Awesome. Next photo, please. Oh, so this is like your
Ah.
team entrance song?
That was my exit when I won that was me celebrating when I won the Wrestle India Nation Women's Championship.
This was in
yun.
India?
Yeah, India.
Where in India?
New Delhi?
New Delhi. Wow,
I
there's a
think so.
wrestling scene pala there. Wow.
Yes, there's wrestling all over Asia.
That's great. That's nice to hear, especially for wrestling fanatics or
Yeah.
just follow wrestling in general. What was your reaction like when they said, "Oh, you're gonna be winning a belt"? What is it something that you're happy about, or it's something that wrestlers don't really take as a big deal because it's a script that they follow?
The thing is, even if it is scripted that you're gonna win the championship,
It's
and it's
still
not like the big MMA na you fought hard, but the
yeah.
thing is, they would only give you a belt if they feel like you deserve it.
Okay.
So it's more like it's not a championship. It's more just like a reward slash thank you for your hard work. You really have been doing it for us.
Yeah.
So when I got to the India one, I was actually very shocked that they decided to put it on me because it was a taped show. They flew in a bunch of wrestlers from Southeast Asia to help out with the wrestling scene there because it's still coming up. But ayun, so the producers actually no the guys who got the wrestlers, they actually wanted another female to be champion, but the producers of the show, because Wrestle India Nation, Dangal Kisurma, which is the full name, it's actually showing on Discovery Sports, I think.
Yeah.
So yun, the producers thought that I would look better with the belt. Also, it would be better that, kasi I think they don't have any like women wrestlers in India right now. I think there are some in training, but I was the closest to the Indian look because the other girls that were competing with me, Alexis Lee, who is a Singaporean pro wrestler, she looks mainly Chinese, and the other
Yeah.
two girls were Russian, and I was the most Asian Indian
Looking, yeah.
looking. So yun. they thought that it
Okay.
would be better na, have a brown skinned girl to
Yeah,
be, para din ma-inspire yung other females in India to wrestle.
got it. That's really great. I'm happy they tapped you. Yeah, they couldn't have tapped. I mean, I don't know the other female wrestlers out there, but for sure, there's a reason why they tapped you, and that's awesome. So thanks for
Mm.
sharing that. Next photo, please. Okay, I think that's it for the photos, but we have a video which I'm excited to watch.
Ah,
Can we play the
I think,
video?
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's just being set up in a.
I think the video is basically my top five moves, and this is on the PWR page and my page as well. So if you guys want to watch it again after this, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So the video. So cool. So cool. I love that.
Ah,
I love how was the last part Jake? Was that Jake in the
yeah.
last? I knew it. But all the highlights, I love the athleticism, the strategizing, the ability to just, accurately just dive in and like do the
It's
move.
honestly scary sometimes because
No, I can
whenever
imagine you're on
when
air.
I'm on the top rope, like I feel like sometimes like one mistake, or like if I just lose my balance, I would fall out of the ring. It's also scary. Like, even though I've been doing this for years,
Yeah.
there's still times that I get scared as well.
Yeah. We'll tap more into that. I'd like I'd like to go on, but we have to go on break. So when we come back, we'll talk more about that particular video, how you prepare for that, and more about the culture here in the Philippines. So we'll be right back and we'll hear more from Crystal.
We'll be back shortly. This is Sportswatch, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I'm the king of rock, there is none higher. Some MCs should call me sire. Before my kingdom, you must choose fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire. Now we rocked up on it, and come correct. All people on time, and rhyme connect.
Ngayong May sa Home Not Alone, Songs from Home with Papa Gio, Karen Sita, Nonoy, Jessica Villarubin, MYMP, Alisa Bonaobra, and Michael Maniago, and the Gibbs Sisters. Oh, wag ka absent ha, dahil back-to-back na. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. California time, o Thursdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. Philippine time. For sure, back-to-back din ang kwentuhan, kulitan, kantahan, at tawanan. Home Not Alone, Songs from Home with Papa Gio. Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio, Los Angeles. Let's dive deep into an all-boys conversation with Voice of the Boys, taking up full sessions about movies, anime, martial arts, and more. Voice of the Boys features pop culture, discussions on male topics, and issues with a hint of female perspective. Hosted by your resident voice artist, the Rick Matthews, and Voice the Slayer, Joshua Ravales. So grab a popcorn and enjoy the Voice of the Boys, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Now back to Sportswatch, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Okay, we're back here at Sportswatch. I'm very excited after watching that video with our guest today, Crystal. That was so hyped. Thank you again for giving us that video, for showing that, and of course for stopping by today once again. Before we tap into the video that we just showed and more about the culture here in the Philippines, I'd just like to shout out those tuned in today. We have Mr. Mika Del Rosario. Sorry, is that a Miss Mika Del Rosario? Pardon me if I got that wrong. She says, "Hi, Crystal." Then we have Mr. Jiro Mateliano says, "Crystal still gonna be first Filipino to compete in the WWE." I agree. Let's push for that. Is there a way we can push for that or something?
I'm not sure.
Harty, Crystal should be in the WWE. I agree, Miss Harty. She really should. I love those.
Pressure.
No, we're just supporting you.
I know, it's really, I really appreciate it from everyone who's like watching right now. I'm really doing my best to get into the WWE. You have no idea, but the visa just stopped me. But I was supposed to go, but pandemic. So I don't know how to proceed right now.
So Crystal, I gotta ask, after showing that video kanina, how long did you take to get yourself where you are now, to be able to do 5 moves? I think that was more than 5, honestly, to do those moves. Did it take some time? How did you gradually develop your skills to do that?
Okay, so fun fact, I used to do Taekwondo. For years.
What did you
I also
not do?
I used to be okay. I have like a long intensive list of sports. I was really a sports body even when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I had like 5 years of swimming. I competed in Milo, I think, once for swimming. Didn't really go that well, but yeah. So I changed to Taekwondo. I had like another 6 years or 7 years of training. And then I went to college and did cheerleading. Because when I was a kid, I used to do ballet. So I still had the flexibility also because of Taekwondo. I have to kick high. So I still had the flexibility. So I went to cheerleading when I was in college. And I think you guys see a bit of my moves na incorporates all of my sports background. So I think my split leg drop is also a bit of like cheerleading and taekwondo. Being able to put up my leg up there is like a very cheerleader-ish move. Like
Yeah,
whenever
parang
the
ito
cheerleaders
mixture
put
nga
their
eh. Yeah, I
yeah
noticed. Parang combination siya ng
yeah
ibang elements. Like I see the dance in there, with the flexibility. Now that you mentioned
yeah
taekwondo, I see it.
yeah
Ballet, you had mentioned kanina ballet, di ba?
yeah. So it's
Okay.
like yung okay, so that those top five moves are just my specialty moves. I also do like moves in between. I would do like forearms or running kicks or big boots. Those are just like my specialty ones because I think one of the moves there also the shiranui, being one of the flyers in cheerleading, they would push you up and then you would twirl in the air or like
Yeah.
you would be held in the air holding your foot up. So, those are the things that basically my five moves were like a culmination of all the sports that I've had for
I love
decades
it.
now. And
I love
then
Did
I
you get
really,
into those? Sorry to interrupt. Did you get into those sports because you knew you wanted to be a wrestler, or you just did those when you were young?
ano ba, my mom every summer would always sign me up for like a sport or like a extracurricular activity because I was really like one of those kids na super proactive with everything. Even though I was in school, I would still have something on the side because I really kahit bata pa lang ako, I was really an active kid. Na I had all this energy and nowhere to put it on, and my mom was just like, "Go into sports, anak." Here. So yun, yeah, I think na I really didn't start those things because I wanted to be a pro wrestler per se. I mean, I wanted to be a pro wrestler, but I didn't know if that was ever gonna happen because there wasn't any wrestling here in the Philippines until PWR came about in 2015. So back then, I was just doing sports as much as I could, and I really enjoyed, swimming and taekwondo and cheerleading. And I think that was just, me being me and being proactive and just I love sports in general. So that's why I was so happy to be on this show because it's
I
Sportswatch
know.
and
I was
I'm
gonna
a
tell
very
you, you're
athletic
perfect for this.
person.
I,
Yeah.
I love this. That's why I was gonna just tell you, you're perfect for this show because we celebrate sports here, especially women in sports. So
Yeah.
yeah, really glad about that. So I'd like to ask you, Crystal.
hmm
Sorry, how long have you been in the wrestling industry?
So I shit. I started training in October of 2015, and then I trained for a year, and then actually no, I trained for like 8 months. I've already graduated the boot camp program, but it took them a while to find me like a perfect opportunity to debut because I was going to be the first female. So uh, I wasn't able to debut until like 6 months after my graduation. So basically, I was kept hidden for like 14 months until my debut into PWR being able to show in the ring.
Yeah. So that said, how would you evaluate the wrestling scene here in the Philippines over at least the years you've been in the PW?
I'm
Yeah. Would you say it's growing? Would you say it has grown over the years? Would you say that like there's still a couple of work to do? How would you evaluate it?
Well, for me, it's there's always a lot of work to do because the wrestling industry isn't really an easy one to get into, but it is growing. We already have, I think, three companies here in the Philippines, and I think I have worked with all three of them. So I'm just happy na being the pioneer female here in Manila in the Philippines, being able to not just work with one but be able to work with all of them is amazing feeling na these guys and girls here in the Philippine wrestling scene really do see value in me as a competitor, as a wrestler. And I am honestly proudest of PWR because of what they've achieved over the years. Even though it's not like a big thing yet, we are working on it. We are trying to get like a TV deal, or one day maybe
Yeah.
be in a movie or something like that. But um, from what it was before, I think the first show of PWR, it was just held in a gym in like a tiny boxing ring. Na they were only like 15 people in the audience, na parang friends lang and family of the wrestlers lang yung nanonood. And then now to be able to, I think our biggest event was held in QC. I think it was the ABS-CBN tent somewhere near Trinoma. Um, be able to fill that up with 2,000 people, or I think, I'm not sure, but a lot of people be able to fill that up, and then be able to bring in talent like TJP, who is a Filipino American wrestler who was a wrestler in WWE, and Jeff Cobb, one of the biggest names. Also, he is also part Filipino. We are able to bring those talent here in Manila and show off na, show them na there's wrestling here now. It's budding. It's not the biggest yet, but it's growing, and we're really working on it. And I'm really proud of the whole Philippine wrestling scene, because from this little stingy little gym na we used to wrestle in, now there's 3 companies and we all have our own wrestling rings now. And I'm just
Where are
proud
they
to say
located?
na
Where are they
uh,
located?
PWR, I think we normally hold our shows in Makati, which is I think it's very easy to get people to get to, because it's ish partly ish in the middle. I'm not sure if Makati is the middle. I hear that it's not, but Makati, ayon. So it really depends on the company on where their event is going to be held at, but PWR is mainly always Makati.
Thanks for that. Moving on, Crystal, I'd like to ask you if there's an advice you'd like to share to someone who has dreams of pursuing wrestling, perhaps professionally, like how you did one day.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you share, perhaps maybe to a young girl right now, or even to a
Mm-hmm.
young boy, on for those that want really for that person that wants to pursue wrestling in general?
Um, it's gonna sound so simple, but I
No.
think you can just do it like Nike. Just do it. Just Nike it all the way. Like, do it, because to me, when I joined PWR, I've always wanted to wrestle, but I was actually scared because there's not a lot of girls. I was the first girl, and I was the only girl for so long, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to push myself and be a better version of myself. I wanted to, pursue this lifelong dream of becoming a wrestler. And to me, no one's okay. People can cheer you on. Like, your friends and your family can cheer you on, or they can try to stop you. But if this is what you really want, and if you're psyching yourself out, I think this also goes for any sport na if you want to try a main, if you're just psyching yourself out, or like anything, just wrestling as well. If you're psyching yourself out na thinking, oh, I'm not going to be good enough, I'm not athletic enough, I'm not fit enough, I don't have abs for this, then you're never going to start anything. I think that the biggest thing that's holding you back is also yourself sometimes. So just do it, because no one else is going to do it for you. So even if you have to wait for a few years, those little girls out there, even if you have to wait for a few years, or even if it's not really available in your city just yet, I think we also have like a guy, Sam, who really wanted to wrestle, but he travels all the way from Baguio. He would travel, and it's like a 5-hour bus ride to
Commute, yeah.
Manila to be able to just wrestle for the weekend, because we normally hold our trainings on Sunday. So he would travel 5 hours, train there for 6 hours, and then go back on the bus. He really wanted to do it, and he did it for himself. He he tries to go to training as much as he can. It's not every week that he is able to go to training, but he still started it, and now he's one of our wrestlers. He's part of the network. There's this group called the network in PWR, but my biggest advice is do it. If it's really what you want, don't let the other people, tell you not to do it, or don't let other people psych you out. And biggest thing, like, don't let yourself stop you from doing what you want to do. And I think that was one of the biggest motivations I've had, because I wanted to do this when I was a little kid, and I wasn't gonna let anyone stop me, no matter what gender it is. So I did it for myself, and I am still, pursuing wrestling,
And
if you call
inspiring,
this pursuing.
and
But
inspiring
yeah,
a lot of girls or people in general. I love
yeah,
that. Thank you for that, Crystal. I like how you tap into the importance of just going for it, setting your eyes
yeah.
for it, no matter
No,
what
because
people.
I know, like, the difficulty, because when I started it, it's like a lot of guys, or like a lot of my friends has told me that, oh, Vernice, you're crazy, masasaktan ka lang dyan, you're just gonna get hurt,
Yeah, yeah, I
you're
could
you're
imagine.
you're this tiny girl and you're gonna face men. I'm just like, I want to do this for me.
Yeah,
Even if, like, the thing is, I know that pro wrestling is, like, kind of scary, because you can't just be, like, athletic, you also have to look
yeah,
good. It's these are things that you can improve on throughout the time. Like, no, like, I I don't think John Cena and The Rock was always look like that.
yeah. It takes
Even if you're
time.
Yeah, even if you're not buff right now, you can, even if you're training and you're still working out, you're gonna get, ripped, or like buffer by the time you're, even if you say you're fat, you can lose weight through training and wrestling as well. So more exercise, even if you're not like this big personality right now. This is also one of the things that, you know the other PWR wrestlers, or like the other wrestlers, whatever company you want to work for, like, they can help you improve on. Even if you're not, the thing is, like, everyone starts at somewhere. You don't start off as like a star already. You have to, grow into it. You're okay. Better thing, like, you're not gonna be a rose at the start of it. You're just a seedling. So
That's a great analogy.
if you're gonna think that you're gonna start out as a rose agad, you're just stopping yourself. You're just psyching yourself out. You're let this little seedling, and let yourself, be watered. Let yourself grow into the rose that you can be. So just pursue the goal. And honestly, that's the biggest thing that I can give anyone to advice to.
I love that determination, hard work, and just being fearless
Yeah.
out there, especially in pursuing a sport you never knew you could do.
Mm,
Diba? And I love your
yeah.
analogy with the rose and the seed. That makes a lot of sense, not just in wrestling, but in life in
Yeah.
general. So we'll hear more from Crystal and we'll wrap things up. But first, let's take a break.
We'll be back shortly. This is Sportswatch, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I'm the king of rock, there is none higher. Some of MCs should call me sire. To hold my kingdom, you must choose fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire. Now we rock up funny and come correct. All sets are on time and rhyme connect. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I'm the king of rock, there is none higher. Some of MCs should call me sire. To hold my kingdom, you must choose fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire. Now we rock up funny and come correct. All sets are on time and rhyme connect.
Now back to Sportswatch, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Okay, we're back here at Sportswatch with our guest today, Crystal.
Hi
Crystal,
again.
hello again. Thanks again for sharing what you said kanina in the last segment, the advice you gave, the brief or your evaluation towards
Yeah.
wrestling. That was some fruitful words, and we appreciate you for that. So for this segment, let's have a little fun with a rapid fire game.
I've always wanted to try one of these.
We're glad that we sneaked it in today's interview. Basically, actually, what's weird, all my the athletes that I have here, they say that
Mm-hmm.
this is like the hardest part of the show.
Ah,
So I don't know if how are you're gonna approach this, but I hope not because it's really chill. Just tell me like the first thing that appears on your mind lang when I ask you a
okay.
question. Okay, game. First question. Favorite aspect about wrestling? If you had to
The
pick one.
showmanship.
The showmanship?
Yeah,
Like,
because like the thing is, it's not just a sports. That's the reason, like, why it's a sports entertainment. It's not just like MMA. You can be as flashy as you want. You can interact with everyone if you want. Like, being able to touch the hearts of people, being able to be that break for people to get outside of
the
their
bigger,
reality.
yeah.
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 So like the showmanship of it, like also whenever you're meeting another pro wrestler, there's always gonna be that respect na this is what we do. I respect you for what you do. The showmanship of it.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Crystal. What is your favorite signature move?
The Queen's Guillotine.
The Queen's.
It's I think it was the last move that you saw in the video. It's the split leg drop from the top
UVJ?
rope. Yeah. I actually came up with it myself. So I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this. I've seen people do it from like the bottom, but I've never seen people do it from the top rope. And when I started
Yeah.
doing it, I was like, oh, this move is just uniquely me. I'm not, just borrowing it
Yeah.
or copying something. It's just purely me. Like I don't think anyone can do a split leg drop from the top rope. I don't think it's easy to do, and it's one of the only things that only I can do. So I'm very proud of it.
Was it, sorry, just segue.
Hmm.
More questions. I'm so sorry.
It's
Was it
okay.
was it hard to construct your own signature moves or moves in general?
Well, it it is because there's a lot of wrestling moves out there that you can try out. You can figure out what you look best in. So like my top 5 moves are just things that feel right to me because I can't exactly like lift up a guy above my head, so that wouldn't really work out for me like psychology wise. Like this tiny girl being able to lift someone up twice their weight. So I when I went through training and through those years of being into wrestling, I figured out what moves look the best, like what moves was I most comfortable with. So I think it took some time to get to this point, but I'm really proud of my moveset so far.
Got it. Favorite wrestler of all time?
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio. Good choice. Naabot
Of
ko yan.
course. I think like I
Biggest
have a
support.
sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
I have like a pop and I think 2 T-shirts. Like one of them is like a vintage WWE T-shirt and like a mask of Rey Mysterio. That's how big of a fan I am. So
Love it. Love it. Biggest supporter in your life?
my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
When was the last time you wrestled? I'm sorry. It's making nostalgic.
This isn't hard. It's just tears. It was February first week of February in 2020.
3 important values you picked up from your career as a wrestler.
For the values, work hard. Don't let anyone bring you down. Also respect. I think the working hard it stands for its own. You have to work hard in any aspect in life, and
That's
if you work hard enough, you're gonna be able to get to the goal that you want to get to. And what was the second thing I said? I'm sorry.
you said hard work and determination and
I forgot the second thing I said, but respect is one of them because I think respect is one of those big things in wrestling. You can't really just come in and like say you're the best.
you
You're
have
not gonna get.
to
You
trust the
have to work
process.
hard. Yeah, you have to trust the process and the determination. I think it's don't let anyone bring you down because if you let people psych you out and stop you from becoming what you really want to be, it's not really gonna help you out. People can say bad things, people can backstab you. I think it also goes for life, and I think it's your determination and your will. If you really want to get to that goal, if you really want to be a professional wrestler, you have to uh, work. It actually these three things that go into each other, but you have to be strong-willed, grow thick skin, and push for what you want. Because if you're just gonna listen to the naysayers out there or like the haters, you're just gonna psych yourself out, and that negativity of them bringing you down is just gonna push you even harder down. And I think not letting anyone stop you from getting to your goal and listening to the people who want to help you, it's one of the big things that I learned in wrestling.
Thank you for sharing that. Fill in the blanks. Wrestling is
Life.
life.
Yeah. There's I like I've said before, when I started loving wrestling, I wanted to be able to give happiness to people the way it gave happiness to my grandmother. Whenever I'm wrestling in that ring, I feel like I'm alive in a way. Now I feel like I'm this more powerful version of myself, even if it is just me inside the ring, and I'm inside the ring with the person in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people. I'm fine with it. It's just like I'm living in that moment. I feel alive. Also, to be able to be given this chance to wrestle, and whenever I watch wrestling, it's like a break from my reality, because you even if your reality is just like you're stressed about your job, or if you're having relationship problems, or if you're stressed about the upcoming exam at your college, or when you're studying, like take like a 10-minute break or watch some wrestling, you forget everything else. So to me, like, wrestling is also like a break of reality, and for those people to watch me and be that break from their realities, I just feel so much more alive. And
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like an
that's why it's
outlet.
life to
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
got it. Thank you. That was nice. Actually, that's the importance of having an outlet now.
Yeah.
Especially for those watching, if you're not interested in wrestling, maybe other things also. The
Yeah, like
importance is just having,
anime or movies.
yeah, whatever it is, right? Got it. So last two questions. Where is your favorite place to wrestle besides
Jap-
here?
Japan.
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 Just there.
Japan.
Like, it's
Japan.
Got
I think
you.
like it's just like amazing there. Also because to me there's like three big places to wrestle in, which is I think United States, because WWE and AEW is there, like the biggest companies. Also, Mexico is one of the places that even before, like in the 80s, Mexico was already producing a lot of amazing wrestlers. It's called lucha libre, I think, or lucha style. So it's like a very flashy version of what you see in WWE. Like they do a lot of twirls and jumping and high flying action. In Japan, it's also been there since way back. And Japanese people, when they see a pro wrestler, they just really do support. And when I was in Japan, this is one of the most memorable things I did. There was this one guy that uh, bought like two T-shirts and like a print, and his money was like 10,000 yen, so it's like 5,000 pesos. And he said like he was supposed to get like a 2,000 yen change, but he was my first customer and I didn't have any change for him. And he was just like, "No, Crystal, keep change, my support." And I was just
Oh,
like
they're
people
so
there,
nice.
yeah, people there like like here, it's actually very hard to sell merch because people see that there's so many other T-shirts out there. Na, I want this design better because it looks nicer. But in Japan, they don't really. I mean, they do care about the design and the sizes and stuff like that. But it's also their way of showing their support to you. It's also their way to say, "Ganbate, keep going. You'll make it big someday." So like the
I love
fans
it. Yeah.
there, it's just like
They're just
I want to go
genuine.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Got
just
it.
want to go back.
Last but not least, Crystal, just to wrap things up, we're a bit over
Mm-hmm.
time. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You have found a passion for something that has obviously
Mm-hmm.
become so significant in your life, diba? Can you just share lang parting slash encouraging words for our audience and how they can find their calling or interests eventually that they can pursue, similar to how like you did, even if it's not wrestling, just in
Yeah.
life in general.
I think I think we're at this like crossroads in all of our lives now. We're in this pandemic. We have all of this time in the world now to try something new. Even if you don't know what your passion is just yet, you can always just try something out. Like even if you're just a homebody and you want to try something new because you've been stuck in the house for all the time because we encourage social distancing and staying at home as most of the time. So even if trying just running around the village or your place, or even if you're trying to draw or illustrate or trying to find something that can just be another hobby. You never know that maybe one of those hobbies can be something that you're going to be able to call work one day, because when I started, wrestling was just a dream, and then it was a hobby, but then now it is
It's a
a
profession.
job. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a profession for me now. So it was just something that I wanted to try out. No, because I wanted to be a wrestler for so long, but I never thought that I would be a pro wrestler. So I told myself I'm just gonna try it out first, see what I can do. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to it and work hard as much as I can, so that it can grow into something else. So I think the main thing that I can say to the viewers out there is just do not be scared to try things out. Do not be scared to pursue things that you're new at, because everyone is new to something. Not everyone's like a pro at the start. So be open to failing, or be open to making mistakes, because that's the way you learn. So trying something out, and even if you're sucky at it, just for as an example, like even if it's just drawing, like you want to try to be an illustrator or an artist, like don't be scared to try it out. Make the mistakes. You're gonna learn from those mistakes, and maybe one day, people are just gonna ask you for commissions now.
I
It's
love it.
something to look forward to and work hard on. And also because we're all staying at home, I mean, this is the time to try new things.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that, Crystal. And once again, thank you for coming to the show today. I really enjoyed your story. It was super inspiring. I like how you went in depth with your career talaga, and you expounded on the process, the importance,
Mm-hmm.
taking it step by step to be where you are now. You're super talented, and I like saw your wrestling videos. I wish I can watch you live one day when hopefully everything's okay
Hopefully.
already. But yeah, thank you again for coming to the show. And before we say your goodbyes, can you please share lang some of your social media handles or
Ah.
business or maybe personal account, or
Mm-hmm.
where people can find you, or perhaps check out your gigs and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Um, my biggest page is on Facebook, which is Crystal PWR, I think, or just search Crystal PWR, and you will see a girl there with blue hair. So that's probably me. You can follow me for on my Instagram, which is more of a personal slash wrestling type of account. It's at I'm Vernice. That's IMVERNICE. You guys can check me out there. But yeah, normally, like, if you just check one, they're all linked together. So you know, just check the Facebook page. My Instagram and my Twitter is probably linked to it. So yeah, that's the easiest way to keep up with me and maybe
Yeah.
hopefully see one of my shows one day.
We'll follow you for sure. I will definitely catch your matches, you and Jake's matches in the future. So thanks again, Crystal. And yeah, we appreciate you coming on.
I'm so thankful to be able to, share all of this with you and with the viewers as well. So really, thank you, V81 Radio, for inviting me today, and thank you, Nicole, for randomly chatting me on Instagram and telling me this. And now I'm just happy to have this experience
Yeah.
in my back pocket now. And thank you for all the viewers out there to stick by with us and watch the entirety of it. And hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and hopefully you do as well, Nicole. And yeah, that's really all I can say.
Yeah. About that, I'd like to give a shout out pala to Jackie Arias. I'm not sure if you know her. She's the one that
Yeah.
recommended you to me, and she told me to message you on Instagram. So I'm really grateful I did that and you replied right away. So thank you again. I'll catch you sometime. Yeah. There you have it. So, Crystal's story best portrays why we shouldn't be afraid to go make our dreams happen, even if gender stereotypes can hinder us. She represents a strong woman not only in the Philippines but also around the world. That's why she's the queen of Philippine wrestling. Through determination, faith in oneself, and hard work and respect, similar to what we did, Crystal was able to take her passion to the professional level. Maybe it's something we can ponder on and learn from as we take on life each day. So once again, this is your sports girl anchor, Nicole Ganglani. Thank you for tuning in today. Catch me live every Saturday from 11 to 12:30. We have a couple of entertaining shows coming up this weekend, starting off Make a Difference every 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Every Saturdays, followed by New All Pinoy Alternative Music tomorrow 1 p.m. to 2:30, hosted by Charlie Diaz, followed by Practical Magic at 8 p.m. to 9:30, hosted by Reg Repta. So I'll see you all next week. Thank you once again for tuning in today. Peace.
Get your head in the game and join the tribe every Saturday as we hear the stories of athletes, fitness personalities, and enthusiasts from the sports world. Hosted by your resident sports girl anchor, Nicole Ganglani, bringing you sports action on Sportswatch every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Philippine time. Until next time, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, your all hits, all Pinoy digital radio station in South Manila. This is V81 Radio.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh,
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
ito ang radio mo. Ito ang radio mo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.